Hey, Warrior Saints! Father Chris here. Welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Glad to have you beautiful people with us on this glorious day. We are talking this week about being proud as Christians. Because as we know, Christianity is under assault. And yesterday I made the case that I don't want to see us whining about it. I want to see us doing something about it. Taking action, becoming Warrior Saints. Visit us at warriorsaints.org. Get on the way with us because we're fighting every day. All the garbage and silliness, I've left it behind in my life. And I invite you to join me to become the very best man or woman that you can be, to become a warrior saint, so that we can overcome all that chaos and find peace that we seek. St. Paul talks about being ashamed of the gospel. In fact, in chapter 1 of his epistle to the Romans, he makes a very clear declarative statement that he is not ashamed of the gospel. In chapter 1, verse 16, he says, I'm not ashamed of the gospel. It's the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, right? He's not ashamed of that. And you think to yourself, well, of course, he's the Apostle Paul. Look, man, you think it's tough now in America, in 21st century North America or in the world. This was a time where Christianity was illegal and people were being put to death for it. They were chopping heads. They were burning people alive. They were crucifying people if they wouldn't renounce this faith in Jesus Christ. And the problem with the shame of it is, the statement is the guy who's on the cross, which in a Roman context and in their minds was someone who lost or was a criminal. The guy on the cross named Jesus was being proclaimed as the king. But anyone on a cross lost their battle in shame. But Paul says, I ain't ashamed of it, right? Because in that, it's power. Make sense? In that is victory. It looks to you and to the world, says St. Paul, as though it is a weakness, or though it is something that is weakness, loss, shame. But indeed, it's the power of God for salvation. Because Christ took death and sin and kicked its butt. He did. Maybe even literally. But he did it on the cross, right? So what looks like to the world death and destruction is actually the power of victory, because Jesus put his will aside in order to do God the Father's will. And because of that, he doesn't go to death. He goes through death. Adam went to death because he disobeyed God's commandments. Christ went through death into an empty tomb, crushing the power of sin, trampling down death by death. That's what we say. That's what we believe. Why then would you not want to be proud and boastful of that? Because the gospel is life-changing. We said yesterday, all the hucky, the silliness of the world, Bil Arabi, haki means like silly idle talk, right? When we use that word, sorry. It's not getting anything done, this haki of the world, this woke theology that people are trying, like you need to wake up and become, like open-minded. What are you talking about? Right? Like that stuff doesn't work. I mean, just Google. Use the Google, man. You will find that depression and anxiety and divorce and suffering and suicide even, God help us, is all on the rise. You want to get, it even gets economic, right? Like gas prices. I have a Tesla, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. But those of you who have cars, right? Like gas prices is a big deal. Inflation's a big deal. Taxes are, everything is on the rise. Let's make goodness on the rise. Let's do the business. Let's be feisty and ferocious warrior saints who are not ashamed of the gospel, but live crucifixionally and make a change in your own life and in the world. Make a change to conquer and overcome the chaos that you face and find peace, which is what we're all searching for anyway. Oh, and by the way, that's what the gospel promises. Grace and peace. You want some, we'll help you do it. Visit us at warriorsaints.org. And let me tell you, the movement is growing. We've got all kinds of stuff going on there. It's getting better and better. We're even tweaking and getting better now and refining things, and it's growing. And we're grateful to all of you. But those of you who are warrior saints, do us the kindness. Share it. Get it out there. The Google and the Facebook, their algorithms are trying to keep us tightly, under control because they don't like what we're saying because we're calling them out. So share it. We appreciate that. We're really grateful. Those of you who are not yet warrior saints, that's all right. Today's your day, bro. Let's get some. All you got to do is visit us at warriorsaints.org. We're going to help you by teaching the best that we can the gospel of Jesus Christ so you can find how crucifixional living conquers the chaos. Love you. We're going to be back tomorrow to talk about obedience and laziness. Until then, as always, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.